Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Talking Cardboard. On tonight's episode, we are going over Star Wars Outer Rim, a newish Star Wars game in the lineup from Fantasy Flight Games. My name is Cory. I am accompanied today by John. Not the rest of the crew, just him and I today, so let's get right into it.
Alright, so no surprise with this one. Really liked the theme of this. I mean, it's a Star Wars game. It's right up my alley. Of course I'm going to like this. Do have a lot of pros and cons for it, although it is a Star Wars-based game from FFG. I mean, they've had really good success in the past, I thought, with their X-Wing game, Imperial Assault. Yeah. Rebellion's another really great two-player game they came out with. But yeah, Outer Rim's really great. I guess to explain the game a little bit, you take on the role of either like a smuggler or a bounty hunter or, I don't know, kind of like a scoundrel type character within the galaxy. They are based off characters from the movie, or the movies, the whole
universe.
Except for the newer sequel series, I think.
Yeah, no, there's nothing in the game that has to do with that yet.
No.
Which we'll get into later in hopes of more expansions, but...
But other than that, so you're taking on a role, and kind of your objective in this game is to earn 8 to 10 victory points, depending on how long of a game you want to play. And you earn those points by either completing jobs in the galaxy, hunting down and collecting on bounties, or I think there's ways to earn points through like encounter cards where you're paying money to earn points, or like just gaining certain reputation with the different factions out there in the galaxy. Yep. So that's kind of the game in a nutshell.
So let's just jump into pros right away. I thought the theme, definitely Star Wars came through in this game a lot. Definitely one of my pros.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think every like action, every like encounter card, like everything you can do in this game, I think was really well thought out and really ties in nicely to the Star Wars theme and kind of what you'd almost expect to see like when you are running through an asteroid belt. It's really cool that way. I think that they did a really good job with everything you can do in this game and what could potentially happen.
Yeah, and like the Kessel Run space, or that Kessel spot, you had to stop all your actions on that spot, so that was thematic. Definitely hard to navigate through that, as we all know. Some of the other pros too, I loved a lot of the mechanisms that came with this game. I loved being able to upgrade your ship, and how each ship felt different, each character felt different, kind of your overall objective. It did kind of guide you into a certain strategy throughout the game, but I didn't seem to mind that. That was one of my pros. I liked that everybody was trying to do something different.
Right, I will kind of hold you there, because I did like the pro of like being able to buy all these different things, but definitely the ship that goes with the character you are obviously fits your strategy the best. I wish there was a little more tweaking there. Maybe it'd almost be nice if you weren't iconic characters in this galaxy.
That's true. They kind of hold your hand into having to do that if you want to win.
Because if you're Lando or Han, the Millennium Falcon's going to be the one ship you're going to look for. I mean, it just makes the most sense. It fits the strategy that comes with that character. But still, it all ties together nice.
It does.
So I can't complain too much about that, but it'd almost be nice if you were just like a straight up generic, like you're a bounty hunter, that's your job in this game, and now you have to make a name for yourself. Right.
Yeah, that would have added a little bit to the game, a little bit more of a game feel rather than just pertaining to the theme specifically. So yeah, that definitely would have helped with that. So yeah, another one of my pros is the jobs and encounter cards. I really felt like that was a lot of fun to play through each one of those. So basically, to kind of dive into that, you have a skill check with that action, or you have a skill check with those. So if you're looking to do a job to get you either some money or some points toward the end game victory, it really follows a really fun story.
Yeah, it does.
So you're doing a skill check for one thing. You might be running down the hallway and trying not to slip or something, and you have to roll a success. And then you're trying to open a door. You have to roll another success to be able to open that door. And it follows this nice, fun storyline. Before you know it, you get immersed, and by the end of it,
you find out you don't have the skill for the last step, and you fail the job.
Exactly.
It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, you fail the whole thing, and then you have to try to... But that plays into the theme, too. So you have to actually build upon that and make your character better in those skills
or find like crewmates for your ship that have that skill you're missing. So it's really cool if you're doing jobs like you're searching the galaxy for certain crew members that fit like a stealth skill, because on your job you need to do like a heist, so you're trying to sneak into a room or something. So I think that really, I think the jobs and the skills I think are really well set up and like really make the theme of this game
that was cool.
Great.
I mean, if you were in the Star Wars universe in real life, that's what you'd want to do. Like, hey, we couldn't do it this first time. Who else could help us do this, or who would have the skills to complete this job? So that was awesome. Yeah,
that's a really big pro, I think.
Any other pros for you before we move on?
I mean, everything in this game was really cool. I mean, I don't know.
Moving into cons.
I don't know.
So, first con for me, and I think John would agree, is that this game needs expansions. It suffers from, I know for John, played a couple times more than me, it definitely suffers from not having enough content.
We haven't even realistically played this a lot. Like we're saying, like 3 to 5 times somewhere. But the encounter decks are a little slim, which I understand. Like, you're always not going to be in these spaces of the board, but you play a few times, you've probably seen every card, you can kind of anticipate what's going to happen. There's not much variability within the different encounter cards. And just the way the characters play, like I said earlier, it's pretty set on what you're going to be doing based on what type of character you get. So that would be my con, but I could definitely see this really opening up with a small expansion even. Just would give it so many more options, I think, and more replayability.
Either another board with more planets, injecting more cards into the decks to add a little bit more flavor, like John alluded to earlier, maybe having some more neutral characters that can play in with the ships not as specifically, or the cards not as specifically.
Or be more like strategy neutral. Like there's not like a set thing that right away you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to have to do.
Right. Albeit cool for the theme, it doesn't really help with the gameplay as much. So that was our big con with the game. Obviously, it's an FFG product, Fantasy Flight game, so we can expect a lot of expansions for it.
And they did just change their plan on that,
they did change their business model when it comes to that. I did read up on that too, but hopefully this is one of the last before they do that.
Right, because I would like to. I mean, if they put out expansions for this, I'll probably buy every one, to be honest. So looking forward to that. That's
pretty much the biggest con in the elephant in the room. Unless you have any other cons.
Not really. Everything else plays really well together. Other than that, some people's turns can maybe drag on a little bit while you're waiting for your turn. Because it is just like each player takes their turn. And
the game is on the longer side.
There's no interactivity like between it. But then again, you're reading, story cards for other players. So there's something there while you're waiting.
There is. What does the box say for game length?
2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. I'd say your 4-player game, you're definitely looking at the longer end of that, if not more. So.
Yeah, so definitely a very immersive thematic game that will take a long time, a longer time to play. But yeah, if you're into that style, it's definitely good for at least 3 to 5 plays up until more expansions, I'd say.
Right.
So moving on into teachability and coupling that with the depth of the game. John, what do you think for the overall depth or teaching the game?
It didn't seem that hard to learn the game. There is a lot of different things that can be going on, which raises questions, I think, with the different encounter cards and like different ways to score points. There's like few avenues, but just all the little intricacies can create some confusion, I think, for newer players.
Yeah, and there's a lot of steps to do or a lot of options on your turn to get used to.
Right.
I mean, after half an hour of playing and getting more used to what steps come when, you get a little more used to it, a little better at that, but that was a little bit of a hurdle, at least for me, the first time I played it. So moving on into the buy it, try before you buy.
Trying to remember, I think this game was $60 retail, maybe a little more. I can't remember for sure.
I think it's about 60.
If you're a Star Wars fan, buy it. It's fun. The theme's awesome. It plays great. If you're more just a board gamer and you're got a group that's maybe looking into a more story-based game or theme-based game, probably also a buy. But if you can try it somewhere, I'd say do that, because like I said, after a few playthroughs, you might get stale. So
it's definitely kind of more of a try before you buy with me, just for that reason. If you are going to buy it, which most Star Wars fans or most thematic fans will end up purchasing this game, because it is a really fun game. It's a lot of fun. You have to expect to be heavily invested in pouring more finances into the game too.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to expect 2-3 more expansions to come out. So when you're all said and done, this game probably will be more of a $150 game after all the expansions. So be aware of that too. If you already have other Star Wars games, like Rebellion is another big thematic one. Yep. I don't know, if you don't have it, I definitely, because John has Rebellion, I thought about purchasing Outer Rim myself because I do like how different it is than Rebellion. But if you already have another Star Wars game, I don't know. I don't know if it's a necessity to buy. Definitely a try.
Yep.
So moving on into overall ratings, where would you put this on a scale from 1 to 10?
So although I think this game is awesome, I think it's really, really hindered by the replayability, and I'm probably sitting at a 7 of 10 right now, which I'm going to play it if people want to. Like, I'm never going to say no. It's a Star Wars game, theme's great, it's a fun game.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I sit with that.
Okay, I'm at a 7 out of 10 as well, actually, and the reason why it's not higher is, like John said, it does suffer from not having enough content and replayability. Mm-hmm. After a few times playing, it's going to get stale after a while, but it still is holding strong at a 7 because it is Star Wars. It is a great theme. It's fun to play. And I would, like John said, I would never turn down a play of it with new players.
Exactly.
But now that we've already played it a few times, I don't think we'll really be sitting around too much asking about it. But,
and to be honest, like now that we haven't played in a while, maybe my thoughts would be different. Maybe I've forgotten some of the things that are in the game. But
that's true.
I don't know if that is necessarily
That's true. It might be one we pull out once every couple months or something like that until new content comes out. But there you have it. That is Star Wars Outer Rim. We appreciate you watching. Definitely comment below. We always try to respond to comments if you have any comments. And
or let us know what you think of the game. Just curious what other people's thoughts are if you're just sitting there waiting for an expansion too, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're definitely curious about that as well. So you all have a great day, and we will see you next time.